Episode 2 of the podcast. I'm live with my guy, Pro the Doge, aka the Slum Doge Millionaire. My guy, I appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I don't know, like, what camera am I looking at? That one? Is it that one? Is it that one?
Just looking at me.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just talking like this. Camera's not even here. Although everybody is tuning in, guys, make sure to retweet this. This is going to be an incredible episode because you have, in my opinion, probably the best story in the crypto space since 2020. What you did in 2020 and 2021 should not be replicated. We're going to talk about this.
Don't do what I did,
Definitely
guys.
Not financial advice. It was so crazy that they literally made a documentary about you called Not Financial Advice. It's out now on YouTube. It's out now on Apple TV. That's how wild your story is, and I'm excited to share it. I appreciate you coming down. Let's get right into it. So you are called Pro the Doge, right? The Slum
correct.
Doge Millionaire, and that is because you found a token called Dogecoin.
Yes, exactly.
And how did it start? So let's start, because in the documentary, which I recommend everybody check out, guys, it's an incredible documentary. I watched it this week. But you talk about how you came from no money, right? Coming from Brazil, no money. And then you made a risky play back in 2020 and early 2021 where you took out all of your money from stocks.
Yeah.
You maxed out your credit cards.
Yeah.
You took out cash advances. And you put it all into Dogecoin. Talk about that. Walk us through exactly what happened and what was your reasoning behind it?
Well, let's start off with, please don't try this at home. Like, do not do what I did.
Because we talked about this offline.
Yeah,
what you did will work for 0.001% of the world. And I'm so happy it worked for you because it couldn't have happened to a better guy. But what you did do was fucking stupid.
Yeah, no, it was dumb. It was pretty dumb. I can admit that. Dumb money, that's what they call us in the Wall Streets of this world. But yeah, bro, like, honestly, I found Dogecoin, through the depths of Reddit. I was on there like every single day. Wall Street bets. I got in on GameStop a little bit too late. And a lot of those guys were angry, man. A lot of those guys were frustrated with what happened to Robinhood. If you guys remember, Robinhood disabled the buy button one day when GameStop was just getting too big and they just had to stop it, right? There's actually a movie out called Dumb Money that talks about that.
They fucked a lot of people. So, like, backstory on that. Everyone was kind of sick of what Wall Street was doing. The big man was always winning.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, GME was a token that was for the people. GameStop is a company that was pretty much dead. No one's buying like actual video games and DVDs, whatever they sell. People were buying it online.
Right.
So the community, it was a community force. Wall Street Bets kind of started it.
Yep.
They revived it. I think GME pumped from like $3 or like 30 cents all the way to like 80
$300, bro.
Crazy.
It went over $300.
And it went so high that Robinhood literally disabled the sell button.
Yeah.
You could only buy it, and that obviously...
No, you could only sell it. You couldn't buy it.
Exactly. You could only sell it. You couldn't buy it anymore, which is as corrupt as it can get.
Right.
And when you can only sell something, what happens to the stock?
It crashes.
It crashes down. So you were in the whole GME. That's how you got started in the stock world?
So I actually went from meme stocks to meme coins, right? So, like, getting into that GameStop play, after what happened, everyone was in disarray, bro. Everyone was like, what's going on? They can't do this. This is wrong. This is illegal. How is this a free market? And so they jumped back into the Wall Street Bets Reddit, and everyone is like, I'm pulling money out the stock market. Like, I'm pulling it out. Like, if they can do this with GameStop, they can do this with another company. Like, I'm pulling out. And so there's all this liquidity now that's just kind of like in limbo, right? Because they don't want to keep it in there because it could happen again with another stock and they could lose all their money again, whether it's AMC, whether it's Nokia, whether it's BlackBerry. There was all these meme stocks, if you remember. Bed Bath & Beyond, all that stuff. And so they were like, what are we going to go after this, right? And that's where I was like, okay, there's an opportunity here. There's definitely somewhere this money's going to go. This liquidity is going to go somewhere. And I need to figure out where that is before that happens. And that's when I just eyes peeled. I'm like, there's going to be another opportunity right now and just have to make sure I know what it is. And I saw Dogecoin getting talked about on that Reddit. Somebody posted a screenshot of a tweet that said, has Dogecoin ever gone to $1? And I was like, Dogecoin, what is this? And I looked into it, so yeah.
And describe us the time frame. When exactly was that?
This was early January 2021.
Okay, so early 2021. This is before Elon Musk even tweeted about Dogecoin.
Yeah.
So you were...
Well, actually, he might have tweeted about it maybe once or twice before that, but...
It was still very, very low.
Very, very little, yeah.
Very, very low. And was there something... Were you in crypto at this time, or were you mostly in stocks?
Bro, the very first crypto coin that I bought was Dogecoin.
No way. No way. So when you saw what happened on the traditional side, right, where Wall Street and these hedge funds can control it, did you kind of get attracted to crypto as no one can control what's going on in DeFi?
That is exactly what happened. I was like, look, the issue that we came across is because it's the little guy versus the big guy, and they're never going to let us win, right? Never. So they're going to do whatever whether it's illegal, it doesn't matter. They're going to do what needs to be done to protect their money. Now, if we go into an industry where there's no big bad wolf, there's nobody losing money if you win money, you know what I mean? Like outside of leveraging and doing all that stuff. That's where I want to be at, because no one can stop the blockchain. You can't pull the plug on a blockchain. No. You know what I mean? Like, so it just made sense to me that, like, okay, all this frustration, all these retail investors are going to move this over somewhere, especially if they're pulling it out of the stock market. And what better place to go to than the blockchain? What better place to go to than something like Dogecoin? You know what I mean? Or any other coin for that matter.
Smart. You were 2 steps ahead. So you probably got wrecked a little bit on GME, right? You probably didn't do great.
No, I did.
But what's good about you is that you were looking for another opportunity. I bet a lot of people gave up. They probably saw Dogecoin on that Reddit and they're like, fuck it, I just lost so much money, I'm not investing anymore. So walk us through it. After GME happens, you see Dogecoin on the Reddit. Describe us your financial situation. How much money did you have in your bank account? How much money did you have in stocks? And then when was the decision to put that money into Dogecoin? And how much did you put in?
I took a hit for sure on GameStop. I put in about $20K in a GameStop and lost about half of it. Wow. Like overnight. You know what I mean? And so I feel like a lot of people probably would have looked at that and been like, you know what, I'm out. Like, I'm not going to deal with this. But I looked at it as an opportunity. And like when I discovered Dogecoin, it made sense to me that a lot of money was going to flow into it because of where we were as like a group of investors, retail investors, right? And so it made perfect sense to me. So discovering Dogecoin, the first time I found it, it was about a penny. It was 1 cent.
Wow.
And I put in like $40, bro. Like this,
really?
Yeah, I put in. So you have Robinhood, or
yeah?
Okay.
Yeah.
So in Robinhood, there's an area at the very top underneath, all your investments, that says buying power, and that's like leftover money. That's if you bring in money from the bank and you haven't invested it, it just sits there on your buying power. You can use that to buy anything you want, right? And at the time, I had about $40 in there, and I took those $40 and I threw it into Dogecoin at a penny. The very next day, Doge shoots from a penny to 8 cents.
No way.
First time in history. I'm in real time looking at my phone and watching 40 go to 60, go to 100, 150, 250, 300, 350. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I was like, this is going to happen again. Like, everything stopped at that moment. And I was like, this has never happened to me in the stock market.
Yep.
To where I saw something go from $40 to $350 to $400 overnight. And whatever this is, this crypto thing, clearly has way more upside potential than anything I'm invested in the stock market. And so that kind of like raised flags. And I was like, I need to figure this out ASAP. And after that day, I probably looked into Dogecoin for another week or two and was like, all right, this is the move. And I need to shift everything over, because this 1 penny to 8 cents move is going to happen again at some point. And next time I'm going to have all my money in.
That's conviction right there. Because there was also a probability that it didn't happen again.
For sure.
But it did. So you put in $40. You studied it for about 2 weeks. What was the next move? How much did you put into Dogecoin after that?
So after that, I literally sold. After that week and a half, I sold all of my stocks. I sold out of absolutely everything. And I was like, all right, the move is going to be Dogecoin. This is going to happen whether it's in a month, whether it's in 6 months, whether it's in a year. Like, I had no idea when it was going to happen. I just knew that's where it was going. And I was like, I need to put all my eggs in this basket, because this is going to go crazy and I need to be all in when it happens. And so I put in everything I had. It was $180,000 at the time.
Holy shit, $180,000. In the documentary, you talk about pulling out cash advances, like maxing out credit cards, like shit that you should not do.
Don't do that.
So you put in everything to your name into Dogecoin.
Yes.
So fucking crazy. But looking back on it, it's like, of course. So how did you have the conviction though? How did you know? You'd never invested in crypto before.
Right.
We've never really seen meme coins run like we did in 2021. How did you know? Was it a sign from God? Was it something in your gut? How did you know that Dogecoin was the runner?
I think it was a combination. It was definitely a gut feeling I just had about Doge. I looked at it like I'm obviously a normie at that time. I'm looking at it that way. And I'm like, okay, if somebody that's like me, right, who's open-minded, who understands that this is going to be the future with blockchain and everything, and I had some money to invest, and I'm going in it, and I'm on Robinhood for whatever reason, right? So like I said, a lot of those investors were in Robinhood. Now, at that time, in Robinhood, you could only buy 3 different types of crypto. They only offered Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin. And at the time, Bitcoin was about $30,000. Ethereum was about 2,000, I want to say, and Dogecoin was a penny, right? So I'm like, if I'm a retail investor and I'm coming into this space, this seems like the best play as far as upside potential because it's a penny. It's a psychological thing, right?
For sure.
I would much rather have 1 million of one thing than have half of a Bitcoin.
Yeah, not even half.
Or not even half, right? Yeah. So it just makes sense from that perspective, but also when it comes to marketability and branding, right? So I come from marketing too, like when I was in the music industry, and Dogecoin is the most marketable out of the top 10 cryptos out even today.
For sure.
Dogecoin is the most marketable one. It's the one that has a face to it. It's the one that is a meme. It's the one that millennials understand. You know what I mean? Like we share memes all the time. Dogecoin is literally that. It's a meme that's attached to a currency that has value, that I can send it to someone and receive something for it. You know what I mean? And so it made sense from a marketing perspective. It made sense from a size ratio perspective.
For sure.
It made sense from even Elon. Elon, that was another thing. He was clearly backing Dogecoin. He had tweeted about it before. And so I was like, look, if Elon really gets behind Doge, this is the richest man in America. Him saying this is his favorite cryptocurrency is going to have an effect.
Yeah, he had the biggest effect. I think without Elon, it doesn't go to where it went, like 89 billion. 100%. So you put in $180,000. How long until you started to see some momentum? Was it instantly, like when you put in the $40, or did it kind of take some time, maybe even drop a little bit?
So it's funny. So within that week and a half, I was playing around a little bit with like how much I'm putting in. So I had the $40 at first. That turned into like almost $400, right? And then a couple days later, I put in like 10K or whatever. I'm looking at it. I'm trying to see it. I actually followed Dogecoin the entire time that it retraced from the 8 cents. So 8 cents was all time high, right? It retraces down to 7, 6, 5. Then it's around 4 for a while. It drops down to 3. Then it drops to 2. And the lowest it has ever gone since that rise up was 2.7 cents. And I watched that for about 5 hours, staring at my phone like if it drops under 2.7, it's not, and it's just there. It's just a rock solid, like that was the bottom. And the next day, so I put in like 20K. The next day it shoots up to like 5 again. I double my money just like that. So I'm like, something's here. Yeah. Something's going on here, and I have to figure this out because it's only a matter of time before this happens. Yeah. But I had no idea how long it was going to take. It could have taken 6 months. If you watch my very first YouTube video, the day after I did all that and I went all in and everything, in the video at the very end, I'm like, I started this channel to become a Dogecoin millionaire. I don't know how long it's going to take. It can take 6 months. It could take a year. But follow along in this journey and let's see how long it takes me. And it took 69 days.
No way.
That's
You're joking.
To the day.
Bro.
I counted it and I was like, this is insane.
So you put in all this money, $180,000. I first found you it's early 2021 because you were on every big YouTuber show in the world.
Finance YouTuber.
Yeah, finance YouTuber. Graham Stephan, Andre Jick, Meet Kevin. So I was like, who is this guy? The story was so interesting. And I watched you. I think I probably found you like $500,000. I'm like, I think everyone was rooting for you. Like, like you're a good guy. I was like, I hope he gets to $1 million. Like, I think like I heard your story. I'm like, he's crazy for putting this much money into a meme coin. Yeah. But I feel like you saw it early. So what was it like, going from just a normal guy to next thing you know, you're on these finance YouTubers. They all have millions and millions of subscribers, and they're reaching out to you to have you on their show.
That was surreal, man. That was really a moment in time for me because like never I expected in a million years that would have happened because I wasn't an investor guy. You know what I mean? Like I was in the music industry. Like I had nothing to do with finances and like, I mean, I'm trying to make money in the stock market, but I'm not that guy. So like once that happened and everyone started reaching out to me, I'm like, I mean, I'm a, take it for what it is. I'm gonna go there, do my best at every one of the podcasts, every time I met those guys. And, they all gave me very sound financial advice, which is not what I wanted to hear.
What did they tell you? Wait, because when you went on their show, you had like, I think you just hit $1 million. You were a millionaire from $180,000 in a meme coin. Never been done before. I think you were one of like the first Dogecoin millionaires that I ever saw. What was their advice that they were telling you?
So the first channel that I did was Andre Jick. Shout out to Andre Jick, man. He gave me my first shot there. But it was his episode. And we looked at my portfolio. He came out to LA and we sat down going through everything, chopping it up. And I think I was sitting at like $1.2 million at that moment.
Which is a lot of money.
And if you knew my apartment back then, it was about this size.
You guys, you got to watch the documentary.
It's tiny.
You have to watch the documentary because it shows you in depth everything that went on.
Yeah.
But even you had $1.1 million, and in the documentary, it shows your bank account negative 300.
Right. So this literally happened around that same time. So I had the 1.2 in Andre Jick's channel, and Andre's like, sell, right? And I'm like, oh, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Literally a week goes by, and I'm sitting at 2.5 million.
Crazy.
So I'm like, why would I sell?
And in the documentary, like, I just went to go to Costco.
Yeah.
You made $300,000 in an hour, and you hit like 2.9 something million dollars. But me watching it, obviously looking back, I'm like, oh, he was a genius for not selling. But I'm like, you have negative $3,000. You're getting all these letters from banks closing your bank accounts and shit. And all you have to do is sell 1,000, 5,000, 10,000.
Bro,
and you were like, nope. So first off, let's just talk. What was your all-time high on your $180,000 investment?
So from 180,000 within roughly around 2 months, I was sitting at over 3 million.
Holy shit. And did not sell a dollar.
Not a dollar. I didn't like, and the thing is this, I had a YouTube channel at that time, right? So I'm posting videos almost daily. And at the very end of the video, I show my portfolio. I'm literally sitting there and you can see how much Dogecoin I have. So if I had sold it, you would have seen that. It's in real time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so it was one of those things where like, I went from, I just want to make money to change my life and the life of my family, right? To, oh, wow, all these people look up to me.
Millions of people.
I can't let them down. So that was also a big part that I hadn't calculated, right? The moral aspect of it.
You weren't expecting it.
At all.
Because it's not just your money. Like, because I saw some of the comments, people were holding because you were holding.
Right. So,
and I think that's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because it definitely affected your judgment, right?
Sure.
Because you were holding because you had thousands of comments of people that were watching you say, hey, you're diamond handing, I'm diamond handing too. So it probably would have felt bad for you to sell it because you were the face of Dogecoin. I mean, there was Elon Musk, but Slum Doge was right next to it.
I mean, I'm telling people this is the future. I'm telling people blockchain technology is going to take over the world, and Dogecoin is going to be very successful in the future as it is now because it's withstand like so much time, right? Dogecoin came out in 2013. It had been almost 10 years that it was out and about, and it was thriving, and it was a top 10 cryptocurrency still. And I'm like, this is a safe bet right here. That's how I looked at it, right? And so all these people are like, okay, I'm a hold because you're holding. It's one of those things where like, I would have felt a certain way if I'm sitting here telling you Dogecoin is the future, you should buy Dogecoin, and then tomorrow I sell my Dogecoin.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
100%. And especially when you're the face of something, it's like so many people are looking up to you. But I think that a lot of people, if you're like, hey guys, I got negative $5,000 in the bank. Like, I'm not going to buy a Lambo. I'm not going to buy a jet. I'm just going to pay off my credit card. They probably would have been happy. But I think it speaks to your character of who you are as a person. So you went all the way up over $3 million. What happened when the bear market started to come in? You started to see your money go down. You didn't sell any of the Dogecoin?
No.
Holy shit. Haven't?
No, if anything, I doubled down.
Wow.
So if you follow my YouTube videos around the documentary time, I had roughly 3 million Dogecoin to my name at that point, right? So during the bear, when Dogecoin dropped all the way back down, I was kind of like on the fence about it. I was like, look, I could either cash out and just live my life, or I can use this as an opportunity to practice what I preach, right? I talk to people about buying the dip. I say, hey, the price goes down, you should buy it up, right? So I went ahead and I bought the dip and I doubled down on what I had. So currently I have 5 million Dogecoin. So almost double what I had back then.
Wow. I still like Dogecoin. I think it withstood the test of time, right?
It's still the OG meme coin.
It's the number 7 crypto in the world, dude.
Dogecoin is the Bitcoin of meme coins.
100%.
Like, hands down.
And I don't know if there's ever going to be anything that passes it, right? SHIB is close. There's Pepe is a good meme coin, but I think that Doge will always be number one, and I think that it's going to have an incredible bull run. And personally, not financial advice, but I do think that we will see Dogecoin be the first meme coin to ever break 100 billion plus market cap.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree because last time
got close.
All-time high was 90?
Yeah, 89.
89?
Got close.
Billion.
It got very close, and I think that it will this cycle. Even Elon Musk, again, is tweeting about the Department of Government Efficiency, right?
He's there, man.
He
just beat that case, too. You know that, right?
Yeah. He still loves Dogecoin. I think the community is strong, and I think that we will see meme coins start to rally. So the Dogecoin run, you held all the way to 3 million. You round-tripped it. Is there anything you regret about not selling any of your Doge?
Everything. No, actually, if I could go back in time and I could talk to myself, I understand where that pressure was coming from.
For sure.
There's also a documentary being made about me, right? So, like, talk about conviction. Like, I gotta have conviction on camera, off camera, on my YouTube channel. Every time I talk to somebody on a podcast, like, I practice what I preach. I walk the walk. I talk the talk. So it's like, that's me all day.
Yep.
But looking back, I can understand how, like, look, an important part of this entire process is taking profit. You can't ignore that, right? Like, I understand holding for a long time, diamond handing. Like, people that, think about this. If you bought Bitcoin in 2012 or whatever the case, we've been through how many bull runs, right? You could have sold at the top of each one or around there, or nobody's ever going to time the top, but you could have sold that and bought it back at the bottom. Sold at the top, bought it back at the bottom, right? Or you could have just not done anything, and right now you'd probably still be better off.
You'd be sitting on a lot of money.
If you just held, right? And so I took the concept of diamond handing Bitcoin and being like, look, the wallets that made the most gains that held Bitcoin are the ones that either the owners died, forgot the keys, sat on them for years. 10 years later, Bitcoin is worth way more than if you try to sit there every year trying to trade it and swing trade it and buy the top, because you're never going to get it right. And so at the end of the day, you probably make less money than somebody who just held for 10 years straight and then sold.
Absolutely. And it's actually proven to be true. I mean, you're probably still in the profit tremendously, even on your $180,000 buy, because Dogecoin held up very nicely. It's still the number 7 meme coin in the world. I think I checked the chart today. It just reclaimed an $18 billion market cap. It was at 25 early, and a lot of people are expecting it to pump. So you held it. You actually doubled down on your Dogecoin conviction. One thing I gave you your flowers for off the screen is that you were the Dogecoin guy, right? And when you are the face of a token or a brand, it's hard to then branch off into other brands or tokens. But now, yes, your name is Slum Doge, Pro the Doge, but I don't view you as the Dogecoin guy anymore. I kind of view you as a crypto guy. You're a DeFi guy now. How did you kind of make that transition from being the face of Dogecoin? Because I'm sure you got a lot of hate when you started making other videos. How did you kind of branch off, not listen to the haters now and people are saying, you're the Dogecoin guy only? How do you say, no, I'm more than just a Dogecoin guy. I love Dogecoin, but I'm a crypto guy.
Well, it was definitely a process. I had only Dogecoin for the longest time. For, I want to say, like, anywhere from 6 to 8 months. I'm just from the moment that, I made my millions, I just was just Doge. I'm a Doge maxi. I'm a purist.
That's
right?
So funny to hear.
Any other coin, fuck you. Get away from me. You know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
Like, to the point where, I'll tell you this off camera, but to the point that I was approached by projects prior to launch sometimes where they wanted me to work with them, and I said no. And these projects reached billions in market cap.
Wow.
To the point where if I had to have just taken the deal, I would have been up millions and millions, like way more than what I made on Doge.
But I think that also speaks to your character. Like, you were just talking about the ethics of not selling because you were,
bro, I'd rather
brand.
take a L than fucking hurt people. You know what I'm saying? It's not worth it for me. So that was a whole process. So I'm sitting here and I'm a Doge maxi to the fullest, right? And it gets to the point where I'm like, look, if I don't branch out, if I don't try other things, if I don't broaden my horizons, I'm going to fade away into oblivion. You know what I mean? And so it was one of those things where that became a turning point for me. And I want to say one of the biggest projects that I got involved in early on was Floki.
A great one.
I was the first ambassador of Floki back then. Yeah.
Wow.
And so I understood what the team wanted to do. I was in all the spaces. I was on the TG. I was like, man, this is amazing. Like, I would love to be a part of something in the beginning stages, right? Like, imagine if you could go back to 2013 and you got Dogecoin when it launched, right? And you were a part of that whole thing. 2014 was a big year, and you were just a huge part of, like, the beginning of Dogecoin. You would have been an incredible part of something that was historical, iconic, top 10 meme coin, first meme coin, OG. You know what I mean? Like, imagine that. So to me, I was like, Floki's gonna be amazing, and I think it still is. Shout out to the team.
I mean, it's number 5
and the community.
Number 5 in the world right now.
In the world. And when I got started, it wasn't there. So it was one of those things where I was like, this is a great project to get behind. And with that comes a lot of followers. With that comes the community wants to come fuck with you. You know what I mean? Like, you join spaces. People, like, look into your story. They're like, oh, I found out about Slum through Floki. he's the Doge guy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
And like they find out about that. And so the more communities you get involved in and become a part of, it's almost like you're spreading the love, right?
100%.
And you get to know about more people, more walks of life, different projects, different teams, different communities. I think it's a great thing to be as involved in as many projects as you can be.
The good ones, right?
The good ones, of course.
And that's a good time to talk about our top tokens right now. So you started as a Dogecoin guy.
For sure.
You found Floki.
Yeah.
Let's fast forward to 2024. I'm curious to hear your top 3 or 5 meme coins for this cycle.
Top 5 meme coins for this cycle.
In no particular order. Just give us 5 of your bangers.
Well, I definitely have Brett.
Brett's a good one.
Yeah, Brett's up there.
Nero.
Nero's another one, man. Nero's a great project.
That's a perfect one for you because like that whole narrative around Nero, like, so for those that don't know at home, the Dogecoin mascot is actually a real life dog named 𝗪𝗧𝗛𝗧.
Yeah.
She passed away this year. She's from Japan. The owners probably mourned for a little bit. I mean, probably the most iconic dog in the history of the world.
Facts.
Like no dog ever made anyone more money. So the owners mourned a little bit and they said, you know what? Let's get another Shiba Inu. They adopted a dog or rescued a dog called Nero.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, there's like 50 Nero tokens that launched
there's a ton
in the crypto world, a bunch on Solana, some CTOs, and then the Nero on Ethereum launch. And for me, it just made sense because the whole dog run started in 2020 on the Ethereum blockchain.
Yeah.
I was like, there's going to be an ETH winner. This dev team, they literally got on like 8 exchanges in the first day. It went from 0 to 300 million within a week or 10 days time. And it's recently just got listed on Binance Futures, Crypto.com, KuCoin Futures this morning. I know this podcast is going to go out a little bit later, as well as OKX. So I saw you talking about Nero. I go, oh, that's perfect for him. You got the Dogecoin guy, you know, literally the face of Dogecoin talking about Nero. I thought that was a perfect layup.
It just makes sense, right? And the thing is, Nero is one of those projects where you're looking at it and it's not a divisive kind of thing. It's almost an addition to the family, right? You look at the people behind Dogecoin, the community behind Dogecoin, and the community behind Shiba Inu, and there was great conflict there, right? There was a big, like Shiba Inu came out and labeled itself the Dogecoin killer.
Crazy.
And Dogecoin's over here, DOGE, do only good every day. And Dogecoin's the happy-go-lucky, fun, helping charities project. And Shiba Inu's like, we're going to kill you. So like, I did not like Shiba Inu for the longest time because of that. Eventually, you know, the community gets bigger, it changes the narrative and all that stuff. And so I'm all for it. But there's always been some sort of like rivalry there, right? Because it was like, oh, is Shiba going to flip Doge? And there was that time period when that happened. And so I feel like with Nero, it's like, hey guys, you could be a part of the Dogecoin community and still be, you know, Nero, still be in the Nero community. You can be Shiba Inu and still be in the Nero community because it's like
smart.
Dogecoin is 𝗪𝗧𝗪𝗪𝗧's a Shiba Inu, so that's how that connects, right? And then you got Nero, which is the sister of Doge, and the new Dogecoin because the owner went and got a new Shiba Inu, Nero. So it makes sense that, okay, this is all a part of the family. We're all one great big family. You can be Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, Nero. We're all in this together. So I feel like Nero is going to bring together the Dogecoin and the Shiba Inu community into the next coin for the next cycle. And what better way to do it with, you know, with Nero?
I like that, man. There was too much divisiveness in 2021, and I think that we all can win together. How do you feel about Pepe?
I love Pepe. I think Pepe is the same way we saw Dogecoin have like the run of the century back in 2021. I think that level of explosion is going to happen to Pepe this time around, and it's going to be about the Pepe verse. I still feel like there's room for dog coins. Dogecoin's still going to do well. Shiba Inu's still going to do well. Nero's going to do well. Pepe's kind of going to be the new kid on the block, right? And that's going to be kind of the biggest meta, I think, next year. Pepe, and then what happens when people get Pepe and Pepe soars and goes to $20-30 billion market cap, and these people feel like they missed out, which is what happened to Dogecoin, right? Back in the day. They're going to start looking at what else can I get that's like Pepe.
Yep.
Right? So that's when you're going to start getting all the derivatives. Now, if you were in the trenches with us this year and the year before, like, you know about Brett.
For sure.
Right? And Brett is the second biggest coin next to Pepe, to the point where I truly believe Brett is the Shiba Inu to Pepe's Doge.
I like that comparison.
And it makes sense.
Yeah, and Brett is a token that launched on the base chain. Right now, they make up like 80% of the market cap. of Coinbase's layer 2, the base chain. Let's talk about the developer, 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗧. We both have talked to him offline.
Shout out to Crash, man.
He is, I mean, in my opinion, like
great form too when he squats. He's a good job.
Yeah. He's a beast. But kind of how like you had a crazy story back in 2020. His story, it's different, right? He doesn't really create content on the camera. He does make YouTube videos and whatnot.
Yeah.
But his calls, I haven't seen anyone in the meme coin space have as successful as calls as Crash has had.
Consistency is admirable.
And it's not even close. I mean, like he'll put a tweet out about a token and it gets like 90,000, 100,000 views. His Telegram channel is going off, but he's had some great calls. Pepe, Ponky, Bobo. He's called Brett, obviously, Bull, and Redo as well. But he's just had calls that have made a lot of people a lot of money. Have you ever seen anyone have as good as calls as 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗧 has had in the meme coin space?
Personally, no. I have not seen anybody do it quite like him, man. Like, I don't know if you remember when he called Bull. I watched that thing go from a few million in market cap and shoot up to over 300
6 million in market cap to 300 million off of a tweet. Like that.
Within hours.
Nobody
of him talking about it.
There's very few people in the space that could do that. Like there's CZ Binance, like if he talked about a meme coin.
Of course.
There's Vitalik Buterin.
Yeah.
There's Brian Armstrong. And then there's 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗧.
And then there's Crash.
That's it. Like nobody else could ever have that type of volume and liquidity follow them based off of a tweet and that's just because his track record speaks for itself. Like he has had such good calls that I have, like, do you have your Crash notifications on? Mine are on. If you don't, like, I always make a joke sometimes. I tweet, I'm like, crypto investing is easy. Just follow 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗧 play, turn on your notifications.
Just do whatever he does.
Yeah, just do it, and you have a higher success rate. But I want to take it back. So we mentioned 3 tokens. We mentioned Brett, we mentioned Pepe, and we mentioned 𝗪𝗓. They all have 2 things in common, right? They have a lot of things, but 2 things I want to talk about. Number 1 is they face an extreme amount of FUD. True. And number 2, they have what we call supply control. Let's touch on the FUD. In your opinion, is FUD for a project good or bad?
I actually think it's pretty bullish, to be honest. I feel like if you don't have FUD around your project, you're not doing anything worthwhile.
Exactly.
Nobody's paying attention to you. Like, nobody cares about shitty poo-poo dookie coin over there with a $1 million market cap.
Yeah,
you know
they're not going to FUD you. Like you're going to ruin yourself. But when you run up to $300 million in the first 10 days, there's going to be companies like Bubble Maps that are going to come after you, calling you out. But I think that FUD, every good project, Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, Pepe, Brett, 𝗪𝗓, good projects, right?
Yeah,
they have all faced FUD because they're doing good things.
Right.
Now, is the FUD warranted? Only time will tell. Right. Back in June, I saw the Brett FUD that was going on. They were saying, hey, 80% of the supply is owned by a small amount of people.
And nobody knows if that's true or not. Like, that's out there. Like, I understand there's metrics, there's all this analysis, all this data. But as far as like, the blockchain's the blockchain. Like, I don't know who owns what, who has what wallet, what's going on with that. Could they be right? Sure. They could totally be right. They could also be off. Like, it's hard to really pinpoint like how far that analysis really takes you when it comes down to what are the facts? Are these 100% like indisputable facts?
Well, let's just say they're true, right? Okay. And I think they have these things they can tell, like when people snipe it. Let's just say it's true, right?
For sure. Okay.
Let's talk about Brett. 80% of the supply was sniped by X amount of people, right?
Okay.
And let's just say you got in around a $300 million market cap, right? Aren't you going to be happy that 80% of supply is not being sold and your token ran up to a $2 billion market cap as opposed to some 21-year-old or 22-year-old kid in college with $5,000 in his bank, them owning 80% of the supply? Right. So in certain scenarios, supply control for me is good. Now, not every scenario. Let's just say 80% of the supply is owned by some people that are scammers are going to dump.
Right.
Well, then it's obviously not good. But if you have tokens...
But 9 out of 10 times, those people, they're going to dump within the first day.
Exactly.
They're going to get that pump from launch, dump the whole thing, and move on to the next project. Why are they going to sit here and work on a project and build it up and get it to 100 million market cap, then get it to 500 million market cap, then get it to $1 billion to then dump? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, these guys are probably already millionaires, a lot of this team, right? So for them, it makes no sense to dump at $1 billion or even $2 billion. For them, they want to sell whatever it is they have slowly over time. But when the project's at like a 10, 20, 30, $40 billion market cap, when it doesn't matter if they take profit or not, it doesn't hurt the project at all.
Yeah. So when it comes to FUD, with Brett, I looked at the FUD. I'm a Brett owner. Okay. I looked at the FUD. I go, wait, so you're telling me that all of this commotion is because there's a certain amount of people that own the token and they're not selling. I'm like, that's a good thing.
They're not selling.
That's a good thing. So with the Brett FUD, I was making videos while all the FUD was going on. I go, guys, look, everyone needs to make their own decision. But for me, I'm not worried about it. Like, I'm still tracking the wallets that are in question. Right. They're still not selling. I'm like, Brett will go higher. It ran back up actually to an all-time high, 1.95 billion. Obviously, markets have corrected. Still the number 7 meme coin in the world. The Pepe FUD. So I got into Pepe at $100 million.
Oh, that's warranted though.
I don't even know if it's fun. I think it's like
it's just facts.
It's kind of like blatant scamming. Right. But I got into Pepe at $100 million. Still to this day, I've never sold a token. I remember I just went to Israel. It was August 26th, and we got a message from the Pepe team. There's like a lot of stuff on Twitter saying, hey, some developers, rogue developers, people that left the project, they logged into the multi-sig wallet, which is essentially, if you're watching at home, it's a wallet that the team sets, and it says, hey, you have to have X amount of signatures before moving money around.
Right.
So they changed the signatures from 5 to 2. They were able
Explain to me how that happened, though.
They were able to log in. And
if it's a multi-sig, they need everyone's signature.
I think there was like 5 rogue people that were able to change it, or like 4, and they didn't have to have everybody.
It was a majority kind of thing.
It was like enough rogue developers logged in and changed it to 2, and then they ended up sending $10 million worth of Pepe at the time. It was around a $300 million market cap, 2 exchanges, and they sold 10 million. And then fast forward, a couple months later, that 10 million would have been worth $100 million. So those developers shouldn't have scammed. They should have just waited, and they probably would have made more money.
Right.
But that FUD was almost warranted, because it's not like, hey, these people are holding supply, they're not selling. It's like, no, these developers logged in.
They literally dumped.
They changed what you can't change and sold $10 million on everyone's head. But even then, Pepe then went
I thought it was 16 million.
It might have been. It was around that. But even then, Pepe went from 300 million, or like a little under at its lowest, to $7.7 billion market cap.
You want to know something crazy? Do you remember my tweets about Pepe?
Yeah.
That was getting fudded by the Pepe community?
Yep.
Bro, I came out and I was like, Pepe is too high right now. Like, I think it hit like a $1 billion or $1.5 billion market cap.
It was early
at the top.
Like
But this was summer last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, if you're in Pepe right now, this is the top you should sell, because it had just listed on Binance. And that, to me, marked the last catalyst.
Binance, Qcoin, Crypto.com, one day.
Right. And it was at $1.5 billion market cap. I'm like, this is really high, especially in the middle of the bear market. No projects were doing that.
On week 2. Yeah.
Bro, no projects were doing that.
Definitely overvalued.
And I was getting crazy hate from the Pepe community on my page, like, cope harder. You didn't get any. You're on the sideline. I'm like,
You're getting paid to FUD.
I'm like, no.
He's getting paid to FUD.
Bro, I literally witnessed this firsthand with Dogecoin. I round tripped it. I'm telling you, so you don't round trip Pepe. I've seen this happen before, so you should probably get out. And then people are asking, okay, so does that mean you just don't like Pepe, or what's the deal with it? I'm like, no, I love Pepe. I love the meme. I get it. I fucking get it, right? But right now it's too high for me to invest. I would only invest if it retraces anywhere from 80 to 90%, which is what happened to Dogecoin, right, after the peak. And when that happens to Pepe, then I'll consider buying it. Yeah. Now, 80 to 90% retracement on a $1.5 billion market cap, I'm not super math whiz. I can't tell you that. But I'm guessing that'd be around $200 million market cap.
Around that.
So after the team dumped on everyone's heads, I think it was 16 million, Pepe dropped even lower. And I think the bottom of Pepe was around $200 million market cap, right?
Yep.
At that point, it must have been 4 months since it launched, or 5 months since it launched. People were talking about a bunch of other things. Nobody was talking about Pepe anymore. It just kind of like...
It was over for a little bit.
Away. It was kind of over. Like, that's when I should have bought, when I said I would have bought, but I wasn't paying attention. I was
in Israel. When all that shit happened, I was like, do I sell? I haven't sold yet.
After the team dump?
After the team dump. Okay. I'm like, do I sell? Is it over?
You were still up, though.
I was up, yeah.
Even at 200.
Yeah, I was up, but I was like, is it over? And I was like, fuck it, dude. I'm just going to hold. I still, to this day, I've never sold a Pepe. I always say, like, it's either going to make me millions of bucks or zero. Like, I'm happy with that.
Have you ever said what your bag is in Pepe?
No.
Okay.
Smart. I mean, I got in at 100.
Smart man.
I got in at 100 million. And yeah, I found it off of a 𝗪𝗧𝗡 video. I was on a beach in Hawaii.
Shout out to 𝗪𝗧𝗡, by the way.
Shout out to 𝗪𝗧𝗡. Literally, I owe you a nice Rolex or something. I was just scrolling. There was nothing. It was April 2023. There was nothing going on in the meme coin space. I'm on a beach drinking a Mai Tai, and I see 𝗪𝗧𝗡 with a frog. I'm like, click that. He only makes shit videos. Click it. He's like, guys, we might have found the next Shiba Inu. Pepe just launched yesterday, and his video was...
He got it the day after?
His video, he made a video at 30 million. And I was like, and I think it was already at like 60 or 70.
Crazy. That's when I saw it at 70.
I got in under 100 million. My first video was under 100 million. And then the ride that Pepe went on was wild. Obviously, we saw Solana summer, right? Because Solana, I mean, went down to $8 back in 2022.
I think it was $6.
$6 back in 2022. You know, Bonk launched free airdrop to all Solana holders.
That kind of sparked the FOMO.
Yeah, Bonk launched on Christmas Eve 2022. That was the bottom of Solana. I do have some conspiracies that Bonk was started by Solana founders in order to revive the ecosystem.
Smart.
And they're also listed on Coinbase. Not many meme coins get listed on Coinbase.
Right.
Coinbase probably knows who it is. I think it probably is the Solana founders. I wouldn't be surprised if it is. Bonk launched, kind of revives the system. Towards the end of December 2023, we see tokens like WIF, we see Myro, we see Ponke. Solana's summer started. What's your current estimations and just thoughts on the Solana ecosystem? Keep in mind, it's September 13th. This is months after Pump Fun and all of the degeneracy has started. Do you think that Solana is different than it was back towards the end of 2023 compared to where it is now in 2024?
So we saw the bottom of Solana at $6, right? More recently, I think the lowest around the end of last year, it was somewhere around $18, hovering around $18, $20, right? And then Bonk thing happens, and then WIF happens, and all of a sudden, the liquidity just gets sucked out of Ethereum, and everything goes to Solana, and it's Solana meme coin season. Let's fucking go, right? With Solana, we saw it rally from $18 back over 100, right? And then it went to 150. I think the top was around 200.
Over 2, yeah.
Right.
For a day.
And think about this. Solana did $18 to $200, right?
Crazy.
Meme coins on Solana did multiple X's on top of that.
Thousands of X's.
Thousands of X's on top of that.
I got into WIF underneath 100 million because I DM'd, like we were doing meme coin spaces on Twitter.
Yeah.
Someone came up and talked about WIF. I DM'd the Twitter account. I sent him a picture of the dog with hat logo and I said, good morning. And they sent me one back with the dog with hat logo playing Uno. And they said, good morning. I go, that's all I need to know. I'm fucking buying. I have the DMs and I bought it. I bought a bag after that just because the devs were based, right? And I think that was a CTO as well. But yeah, the Solana meme coins went wild.
Yeah.
So far, right? And this podcast will be out in a week. Who knows what has happened since then? But we saw Bitcoin hit an all-time high.
Right.
Over $73,000. We only saw one other altcoin, which is BNB, hit an all-time high. It was over $700.
And nobody's talking about BNB, bro.
I don't know why.
Why?
I think it hit an all-time high because the largest holder went to prison and he probably wasn't able to sell. CZ Binance, he owns a large amount of supply.
He probably does.
But BNB is also a great chain. But we saw only one other altcoin. We saw meme coins run before altcoins, which is not what happened in 2021. Do you think that this cycle will be different? Do you think that we're going to see altcoins run here in 2025?
I think, well, historically speaking, you see Bitcoin run first.
Yes.
Then you see Ethereum. Then everything else rides, right? So it's like Bitcoin is the ship that raises all tides, right?
For sure.
So Bitcoin runs, Ethereum runs, altcoin runs. It's altcoin season, right? You get the top 10 running, you get top 20 start moving up to the top 10, right? We saw Ton flip, Cardano flip, these coins go up there, Tron flip. So like, I don't know. Like personally, if I'm speaking to people that are trying to like bet the safest possible way, I would say put money into these altcoins that are just shy of top 10. Look into what's between 10 and 20.
Right? A lot of good ones. Avalanche,
𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗖𝗧,
Chainlink.
Yes.
There's a lot of good ones in there.
A lot of good ones in there where you're pretty much guaranteed to make money on them. You might make a few X's. You're not going to make thousands of X's, right? You're not going to make meme coins on Solana X's, right?
Yeah, but one day, I mean, like your story is, I hope that you can say it too. It's an anomaly. Like not everyone is going to be able to do what you did, right? Especially now.
Right.
Like you just somehow found the perfect token. You picked the winner at the perfect time. And then are you close with Elon? How'd you get Elon to tweet about it so many times?
Elon's the homie. You know what I mean? I just shoot him a little text like, hey man, we need a little pump, bro.
And he's like, gotcha.
Let me get a tweet.
And he would just put like a funny Dogecoin meme, you know?
It's all right.
But yeah, it's like you happen to like I really think it's just God, universe, whatever you want to call it, like perfect timing, divine intervention.
Yeah.
You got, I don't want to say it's luck because you had conviction too. You believed in it, but like it was in
a weird way. I also feel like I kind of manifested it without, you know what I mean? I believed in that so much. Like I'd go to sleep every day like Dogecoin's gonna like go crazy. You know what I mean? Like I just truly had this gut feeling like this is gonna happen at some point. The world's gonna discover it. Like I'm literally calling everybody on my phone like buy Dogecoin. And it was like, why? Some of them did.
Yeah.
Some of them put a few $100s in, ended up with 10K,
Holy
20K.
shit.
You know what I mean? Like just from that. And a lot of times that's all you need to spark that curiosity in your brain. And next thing you know, these people are 100% into crypto too.
But I want people to get away from the fact that like, you know, meme coins are so hot because it's that lottery ticket.
Right.
Like, and you see stories like yours.
Right.
Guy puts 180K in, mortgages everything, finances, you know,
Right.
maxes out credit cards, turns it in 3 million. A lot of people believe it's possible, and it is. I've connected with you. I've connected with other people. I know a guy from a meme coin in 2021. He put 50K in. He turned it into 40 million.
Right.
Insane. But
it's just, I think my story blew up.
Yeah.
That's the difference, right? Because it's like, you've done that with certain coins where you made a ton of money, right? Like, you know, people that have put money in a 𝗪𝗧 became millionaires. People that, so 𝗪𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗧, Millionaire, 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗧, 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧, like, there's so many coins running around that time that a lot of people were making a lot of money, but it just so happened that my story blew up because it was on CNBC, the New York Times, Business Insider, Meet Kevin. I was all over the place, so it made sense.
I want to get back though, because like you just said, it's like we talked about good tokens like Avalanche, Solana, like why are we getting away from when did a 5x or a 10x not become good enough, man? Like, why do we need the 100 or the 1,000? I'm with you. I'm searching for hundreds and thousands.
That's what we want.
But it's like, I mean, 10x is pretty damn good.
It is, but it doesn't change your life if you have $1,000.
That's what it is.
$1,000 to 10,000 doesn't really change your life.
That's what it is.
Right.
So let's just say we were searching, right? Like I'm looking. You obviously have a good grasp on the meme coin space, right? You knew it with Dogecoin. You've probably seen other ones like Brett, like Pepe. In your opinion, what does it take to become a really good meme coin in today's day and age?
You need to understand narrative. That is probably the strongest aspect of any meme coin in any cycle, really, that is going to change whether it's a nothing coin or $1 billion token, right? Like narrative. Like that is probably the most important thing. And then outside of narrative, you got how strong is the team? How much, like, do they have the connections? Mm-hmm. Can they get this coin on exchanges? Are they willing to pay the fee? Because all these exchanges have fees. If you didn't know,
very expensive,
and it's very expensive. So how solid is the team, right? How strong is the community?
Yeah.
Are these people rating? Are these people talking about this coin nonstop? Are these people jumping on every comment section on every major influencer or whatever, you know, big YouTube video, whatever, talking about this coin? Like, there are many aspects that combined make an iconic meme coin that's going to go to billions, but I do believe it starts with narrative.
I agree. And dive into narrative a little bit. Like, how do you look for narrative? How do you know what's hot with the narrative? Because you obviously had dog tokens,
right?
𝗪𝗧𝗧, like we mentioned, like that for me was a layup. Like, 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗪𝗧𝗧 died.
Right.
There's a new dog called 𝗪𝗧𝗧𝗧. It's gonna be a runner, right?
Right.
The Matt Fury's Boys Club meta.
Right.
How do you kind of assess a narrative, and how do you know if it's gonna be good?
I think narratives. Okay, you judge how good a narrative is based on how easily you can explain it to a normie and they get it.
I like that.
If I'm talking to somebody who heard about Dogecoin, right? And I'm like, have you heard about Dogecoin? Yeah. Well, that was actually a real dog. The dog's name was 𝗪𝗧𝗪𝗧. The owner had the dog for years. The dog recently, sadly, passed away.
Yep.
You know, and the owner mourned for a little bit. And now the owner went and adopted a brand new Shiba Inu dog and named her 𝗪𝗧𝗪.
Yep.
Oh, I get it. It makes sense. Because what we want at some point is that we have mass adoption, right? We want normies to come into the cycle. The same way I came into the cycle as a normie for the first time and bought Dogecoin as my first crypto, you're going to have someone like me next year in 2025 discover crypto for the first time. Either that or for the first time have enough money to invest, right? Because a lot of people are turning 18, 19, 20, 21. They finally started having the ability to save up a few $1,000s and they're going to start investing for the first time next year. We want those people into these coins because they're the ones that are going to share it with their friends and family, and you get more normies, more retail investors, more hype, the bigger the coin gets.
Yeah, I like look at narratives and I can kind of see it because I've been in the space so long. Oh, this is good, this is not. Like Bread on Base, the first token really on the base chain. It's blue. It's kind of like the mascot. Bull, which launched on Tron.
Right, that's the
Tron
mascot.
DAO literally would tweet the image. Now it's a token. It's like relatable.
Right.
Pepe, another good one. Like a meme that's older than Bitcoin. It's been around on 4chan. Like it makes sense. Something that we saw new this year, and I want to give shout outs to Punky and Brett because they really changed the game when it comes to meme coins, is their short form content. I mean, Punky has hundreds of thousands
animations
of followers on Instagram, on TikTok. Some of their reels that they post on Instagram get 50 plus million views. They don't have 50 million plus holders. So how important is that for these tokens to now spend money on these high quality animations that they're posting, not just where crypto lives, which is Twitter, YouTube, Reddit, but also on Instagram and TikTok?
No, that's huge. That's huge. I feel like, you know, if a project is serious about what they have, that they should invest in that kind of stuff, because, you know, Punky doing what they're doing on Instagram, on TikTok, and all these other places, you're spreading awareness, right? It's all about brand awareness. It's all about me talking to a normie who maybe just discovered crypto, and I'm like, you know, there's this coin called Punky, right? Oh, really? What's it look like? I show him an image. I saw that somewhere. I saw that. I don't know where it was, but I saw that before. Same thing with Dogecoin, and I feel like that was the power of Dogecoin, because the meme, the Doge meme, right? The much wow, the Comic Sans.
You already saw it.
Everyone saw it already. So this is common. Same thing with Pepe. Pepe outgrows the crypto space. Like, Pepe literally encompasses all of memedom. You know what I'm saying? Like, people all over the place seen Pepe, whether or not they're in crypto. So that's another thing that makes a really good meme coin. It's a meme that you know, supersedes all that.
Absolutely. I like that a lot. So when it comes to cryptocurrency for this cycle, right? Obviously, I believe everything runs off a 4-year cycle. If you look at the dates, it actually runs like to a T.
I preach the same thing.
It's the same exact day. Like from the all-time low to the all-time high from 2015 to 2017, it was 1,064 days. From the all-time high to the all-time low, it was 364 days. The next year, 1,064 days.
Right.
So if we are on pace and tracking with history, which I believe it does run on a 4-year cycle, we should see all-time highs in October of 2025, right? And that's kind of what I've been basing my strategy off of, you know, not selling now. I thought that our pump in January was a little bit too early.
I thought it was early too.
A lot of it was based off just the Bitcoin spot ETFs being approved, you know, a little bit.
Ethereum ETF.
Yeah, being approved. And I think that we are on pace for 2025. Long term, do you think that this will continue the 4-year cycle? Or do you think that when these institutions and countries come in, we might see it shake up a little bit?
I feel like once the big dogs come to play, the cycles are going to shorten.
Yeah.
Because when regulation comes about, everything's going to be on blockchain. Like, it's like I think within the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to shake up the entire industry. Like, the way we're seeing the dollar slowly but surely collapse, like, we're seeing, like, it's almost the writing's on the wall, right? It might take a few years for it to actually happen, but I feel like, you know, the powers that be understand that. The big money in the US understands that, which is why they're slowly getting into Bitcoin. I think BlackRock owns what, 2%? Of Bitcoin, some ridiculous. Michael Saylor owns a shit ton. So it's like, these guys know what's up, right? And they're slowly they're almost transitioning from the dollar into Bitcoin or into these Ethereum, you know, into these ETFs.
That's what the Trump family, they're, and like I said, this is September 15th. This podcast will probably go live September 20th. So the announcement will already be out by the time that this podcast goes live. But they launched a project, or they're launching one, World Liberty Financial, in which the Trumps are trying to, let's just say, make the dollar great again on the blockchain. So they're using Aave, which is a blockchain, and they're trying
stablecoin.
With the stablecoins, with USDC and USDT, they're trying to make, because think about that, it's US dollar coin, US dollar tether. They're trying to make the digital dollar that's going to be used around the world be used in the actual US dollars. So the Trump family is seeing the future in DeFi, and they're saying we don't want a US dollar or euro to take over, or not a US dollar, a euro DC, or a BRICS DC. They want the USDC and USDT to be the most used and widely adopted digital currency, like the dollar has been.
Right. No, as they should. I feel like that, I mean, if I'm a politician, if that's my role, right? Like, I want the country to remain solid. I want the country to remain strong. Like, if that means converting dollars into digital dollars or whatever, do it, right? But I also feel like it's going to come a time where things need to change in a way that you have high net worth individuals that live in the U.S. want to continue to live in the U.S., right? What are you going to do for people that don't need to be here? Like, if you're a multi-millionaire, if you're a billionaire and you can live anywhere in the world, make it worth their while to stay here.
Incentives.
Incentivize them. Like, give them reasons to stay here.
Tax cuts, like we did with, like, look at Silicon Valley, right?
Right.
You could build technology anywhere. All of these companies, Apple, Google, Tesla, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, They were all in
From
San
that.
Francisco, in the Silicon Valley. And I feel like the past 4 years, just from talking to my friends, a lot of them have left America because they're like uncertain about regulation.
Right.
Taxes are very high. I think that's what Donald Trump says. He really wants to bring crypto adoption to America, which I think is a beautiful thing.
I think so.
Look, crypto is a great tool. It's going to revolutionize the world, whether people want it or not. Are there bad actors? Of course, but there's bad actors that use the U.S. dollar.
Anything, right?
Fun fact: Elizabeth Warren always says crypto is used for criminals. Only 0.3% of cryptocurrency transactions worldwide in 2024 were used for illegal activities. Over 33% of the U.S. dollar in 2024 was used for illegal activities.
We should tell her that. Yeah. Somebody should go up there.
She knows it. They run off these like talking points, but it's just because I Google, and this is from Google, which is a pretty biased search engine, and they gave me that statistic and fact. So yes, there are bad actors in the crypto space, but there are way more good people who are using the technology to build good things than there are bad actors in the crypto space. And I think that we should bring it here to America. The U.S. government can tax it as well. You get 30% of every transaction that goes through. If people get paid in crypto, that's revenue. You can tax it as well.
Right.
So the U.S. can actually make money by bringing crypto adoption here in America.
Right. No, I completely agree, man. And I feel like, you know, bad actors in cash, bad actors in crypto. I mean, the benefits of crypto is you got blockchain technology, right? So
trace it all.
The government should love that. You know what I mean? They could track everything, trace everything, do whatever they want to do, and be able to follow up on it. Like,
yeah, and I would love it for like the government too. Like, taxes, like put our taxes on the blockchain.
Right.
I live in America. I'm born here. I'm happy to pay my taxes. Right? I know ever since I was born. You know, death is promised, taxes are promised. Yeah. So I'm happy to pay my 30-35%, whatever is to the government, but I would love to see where it goes. I would love if I got a report instantly or a year after saying, hey, they sent me a report on the blockchain. Hey, Jake, this is where you paid $50,000 in taxes.
This is exactly
$10,000 went to schools, $5,000 went to road, $10,000 went to the wars, and then you get assessed and be like, wait, why is my money going to a war that I don't really care about? Whereas right now you pay your taxes, you just pay an amount that they tell you to pay. You have to pay or else you get arrested, and then you don't know where it goes. You know, so I think the blockchain,
you just kind of hope and pray that they do the right thing with it, right?
And you just don't
a lot of times they don't.
Most of the time, right?
Right.
But we'll see what happens. But I think that, you know, even like for campaign donations to presidents and stuff, it's like I would love to see where the money went. And I think the blockchain.
I love for them to give us like a multiple choice or something. Like, where would you like
that
your money to go? Right? Okay, I'm gonna put this much in taxes. Can it please go here, here, and here instead of there? You know what I mean? Like
instead of the war in Ukraine, it's like you know, I would imagine most people, like most Americans, probably don't want their money going to a war.
Facts.
That they have no say in. They don't know anyone that's involved.
No connection to.
I mean, probably anti-war. I'm anti-war. Like I don't. Yeah. But then again, it's like wars generate the most money out of, I think, any industry. Probably oil and war. And oil starts a lot of war. That's why we see more wars going on in the Middle East, right? So that's an interesting conversation. But I do think blockchain technology is incredible for, I mean, certain things like owning a house, owning a car, tickets to a music festival, right? I think there would be a cool way if you could do like, because I think one of the biggest issues right now is like streaming, illegal streaming, like streaming UFC fights and shit.
Right.
Somehow find a way like to, I don't know, stop that, get on the blockchain. But I think pretty much everything that there is can be put on the blockchain. Question for you. The SEC last week came out with a Wells notice to OpenSea where they said that NFTs are securities. For me, it was confusing.
That's hilarious.
I mean, for me, it's confusing because the way I've always viewed NFTs, and I bought NFTs, I got wrecked on them. I'm not the biggest fan of NFTs. But if I bought a Kobe Bryant NFT card, right, digital collectible, that is a security according to the SEC. But if I bought a Kobe Bryant basketball card,
physical,
that's not. But what's the difference? One's on the blockchain and one's not. That makes it a security. For me, it's confusing. Does it make sense to you?
No, not at all. And I feel like that's a laughable thing to say. You know what I mean? Like, that's ridiculous. I think I saw one of the clips that was like somebody was like, so if I buy a Pokemon card physically, that's
not a security.
That's not a security. But if I buy the same thing digitally,
pay the same amount of money, it's a security.
Right.
So it's because it's on the blockchain and it's because it's used with crypto.
Bro.
But you could also buy that physical one in person with crypto. And it's not security. So there's like, that's why I think like, dude, there needs to be some, I don't want to say regulation, but
I think it's going to happen though regardless. Regulation's coming, bro.
Just guidelines, you know? And that's why a lot of people that I know have moved to Dubai and these other countries because they're like, we don't know. Like, can I buy this? Can I not? Is it legal? Is it not?
I'm going to let you guys figure it out here while I go here. Yeah. You let me know when it's ready.
Because they're like, look, like Dogecoin, for example. It's like, Is that a security or no? As of now, we don't know. Like, according to the SEC, it could be, but it's like you just...
I mean, honestly, something that we do have going for us is the fact that Dogecoin is literally copy-paste of Bitcoin, right? And Bitcoin is definitely not.
That's the best thing.
So the chances that it's not is very high, which is something I'm happy about. But
yeah, I think there just needs to be, like, I don't want to say like regulation, because once the government gets involved, they usually take more and more, but guidelines. And I think that's why, President Trump speaking at the Bitcoin conference and having like a group of crypto leaders there with him,
kind of
advising him.
Right.
I hope that the government, whoever wins in 2024, obviously it's going to be Trump or Kamala, we don't know yet. Whoever wins, I hope that they do understand how important cryptocurrency is to a lot of voters.
Yeah.
And I hope that they do, instead of forming their own cabinet of people who are 75 and 80 years old who own no cryptocurrency, get a group of guys from Coinbase and Gemini and Kraken and Crypto.com and say, hey, you guys have obviously done something right. How would you like to see crypto built here in America? That's what I hope for.
Just put the Avengers of crypto together.
Literally, get Crash's Clay in there.
Get Crash in there too.
He's got to get in there. So that's good for crypto. I want to talk about your documentary a little bit because it was a very, very good watch. Tell the people who are watching it at home where they can get it and what the name is, and then we'll dive in a little bit more.
For sure. Okay, so you can get my documentary on Apple TV. It's also on Amazon Video if you have Prime. And now recently it's started streaming on YouTube for free.
And the name?
It's called This Is Not Financial Advice.
I watched it, guys. It is fucking amazing.
What was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene was spoiler alert, Slum is literally fucking, I guess he was on this health kick. He takes like a pound of celery juice, puts it into a juicer and drinks like a fucking gallon a day. Yeah. Every day he's drinking that, and then he's like running upstairs. I think it was great, but I think it's just great. It just, it gives you like, because it really like personalizes you, That's and true. I already knew you before. I hung out with you in San Francisco. We went to Vegas. We were already friends. Right. But for the average user, it's like, wait, I could be just like that guy, And I just thought it was so cool because, you had $3 million in crypto and it shows his bank account. He has negative 5,000. I'm just like, I see how it turned out now. I know you're doing good now. And I'm just like, bro, sell a little bit of your Dogecoin. But I thought it was cool because they were there with you the day that you became a millionaire. They were there with you the day that you went on Andre Jick and Graham Stephan. They were there the day with you like, I just went to Costco. You're shopping at Costco. You're wearing a mask because you're probably in California. And then, all you bought, I think that day was celery.
Right.
Just buy celery at Costco because he doesn't have money. He doesn't have cash. $3 million in the bank. Buying celery, just juicing all day. And then it shows you, also the day that Elon Musk went on SNL and you're on the stream with people and you're like, dude, I got $3 million within a day. I think you lost $1 million within like a couple hours.
Within an hour. Yeah. And you should have seen the car I was driving too. I was running around in a little hoopty. Like.
We saw it. But also, dude, I love the whole documentary. I can't recommend it enough. But even your friends, you have $3 million. He has his friends over in his, smaller than the studio guys. Like he has like a birthday party in a room this big. And one of his homies is just like, bro, just sell. You got money that like none of us have ever dreamed of because you grew up very poor. They're like, bro, you were sleeping on our couches 3 months ago. You have $3 million. And Doge is like, I don't got enough money for everyone yet. He's like, I got $3 million, but like I got to take care of my mom. I got to take care of my dad. I got to take care of my family. I want to start a record label. I want to make sure everyone's good. Yeah. So I think it just shows you like, your character a little bit, but I can't recommend it enough. I sent it to all my friends. I sent it to my mom. She watched it. I sent it to my brother. Everybody watched it. So
some of the comments on there was really funny. So like, I forgot where I saw this comment, but this lady was like, look, I'm a lesbian and I don't think I've ever said pull out that many times during an hour
That's
watching
funny.
the movie.
Yeah, but I do see where you're coming from too, though, because you were the face of it, and it's like, they pull up in the documentary. They pull up some of your YouTube comments. And people are like, if you're holding, I'm holding. Down the hands to the wall. It's like when you get those comments, it's tough, because you relate with those people. Right. But I think it was great. One thing that surprised me, I didn't know this. We didn't talk about it at all, but you come from the music industry.
Yeah. So the whole reason I moved to LA in the first place was to get into the music industry. And around that time, like I grew up in Maryland, so I was there for the majority of my life, moved around a little bit. But I started managing an artist in Maryland and was trying to get him a record deal. He's a rapper. And so, we're not in the industry. You're in Maryland, D.C., Virginia if you're in politics, right? Not if you're trying to be a huge rapper, superstar guy. And so I'm like, all right, if I want to give this kid the best possible opportunities in life, and if we can really make it so he can be a big thing, I'm going to have to go where the music industry is. And that's either New York or L.A. Anybody who's an upcoming artist knows that. So I picked up, moved to LA. I was sleeping on couches for the first year, 4 different couches actually.
Crazy.
Moving around LA. I was in
Who were
Van
they?
Nuys.
Give them a shout out. Give them a
Shout out to the homies, man. So I slept on a couch in Van Nuys at my homie Castro's place. And then from there, I moved to Culver City, and I was sleeping on the couch there. Shout out to Tim Banks, that's the homie. And then I moved to my homie Theo and BJ's house. They were the ones that came to the birthday, and I was sleeping on their couch.
Those are good friends, bro.
Bro, those are all the homies, man. And so after that, I started working my way up the music industry. I started an entry-level videographer. You know, I knew how to shoot music videos because that's what I was doing back in Maryland. I had this artist that I'm trying to get signed. And so I'm doing all these things trying to get my foot in the door, right? So it's LA, so there's music events all the time. I'm over here shooting a record release party for this artist, right? I'm shooting an event here, red carpet event here. And so everywhere I go, I'm meeting A&Rs, I'm meeting music executives, and I'm shooting their videos and doing all this thing. I'm like, hey, pull them to the side. By the way, I got this artist I'm working with. You're in the industry. You let me know if you think he's good or not. I'll send you some songs, right? And so I got 100 no's. And then I got that one yes.
Nice.
And the guy was like, bring him out here. Let's figure it out. So shout out to Lambo Anlo. That's my artist.
He's in the documentary.
He's in the documentary. His music plays in the documentary too. Flew him out there. Got him meeting with the A&R. A&R brought us to the owner of the entire record label, Rostrum Records. Shout out to Benji. We sat down, talked to him. He was the guy that signed Wiz Khalifa and Mac Miller back in the day. So this guy's,
reputable.
He's reputable. He's sitting here listening to the music. We're playing him all the Lambo songs. Listening to the music. After the 3rd song, he's like, I'm a music executive. And he's like, I'm supposed to have this like poker face. You have no idea whether or not I just liked your song, right? He's like, but look, man. He's like, I love this shit. He was like, nice. I want to give you guys a deal. I will send something over next week.
Wow.
And that in that moment, bro, it literally just everything that I knew about this kid, about Lambo and his music, it validated everything 100%. Because we come from nothing in Maryland, random place, you know what I mean? Like all the way to LA in front of these music executives, and I'm championing the fuck out of this kid. I'm like, yo, he's dope. And now I'm sitting in front of a guy who's worth multi-millions of dollars telling me, you're right. He's dope.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that, like just blew my mind, and it really just gave me a whole nother reason to keep going.
There's some similarities there between how you view Lambo and also Dogecoin.
Yeah.
Like I feel like when you just know and you go all in, and you're like, you're not afraid to take risk.
Bro, it's a gut feeling that I just have sometimes, like me moving to LA, sleeping on couches was me going all in. You know what I mean? To like get this artist signed. And I did that. And that happened within like a year or two of me being in LA. And we were running around Maryland for a few years with nothing happening.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So we just needed to change locations.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah.
So also something that you do that I admire is you take care of your family as well.
That's
Crypto's
true.
changed your life. You've made some great bets. Incredible bets. Maybe too risky. If I was your friend back then, I'd be like, hey brother, pump the brakes a little bit, but it paid off.
Right.
And now you're able to take care of your mom, your dad. Talk about that. Like how important that is for you to take care of your family.
That's really important, man. That's why I do it. And I feel like, if you come from where I come from, you understand the importance of family. You understand the importance of unity. You understand the importance of not everyone has the opportunities you have. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially being an immigrant. So you coming here from a different country, your parents coming here with like, a few bucks in their pocket. They don't got nothing, right? They're literally coming to a new country for a new life, for new opportunities. And there's a second language. They have to learn how to speak English, bro.
Wow.
And then you start here and you're just grinding your way up. They don't know, what to do. They don't know about investing. They don't know how to make a ton of money here. And just the fact that I was raised in this location, in this environment, that gave me everything I needed to be successful. And it would be a slap to their face for me to become successful because they brought me here and not give back to them and not show that appreciation for all of the sacrifices that they made on a day-to-day basis, bro. Like that's why I do it, to make sure they're happy, they're good, they're content, and every sacrifice they've ever made has finally paid off.
I love it, bro. It's a great story, man.
It's real.
Really, like one of the most famous and beautiful stories of 2021, the bull run that will live on forever. The Dogecoin Millionaire Slum. I appreciate you coming on the podcast today, bro. It was a great talk. And we'll do it again soon. And hopefully we get some more great stories out of you. I know you've been consistent. Man. Let everybody know where they can follow you. Obviously, we tagged you here on X, but tell them your Instagram, your Twitter. That way they can stay in touch with the story.
Instagram, Pro the Doge, PROTHEDOGE. Twitter, Pro the Doge. On YouTube, the Dogecoin Millionaire. You can follow me there. And yeah, the movie's out now. The documentary's out now.
This is not financial advice. YouTube, Apple TV, Amazon, hopefully Netflix soon. Go check it out, guys. It was a great episode. We appreciate you tuning in. Pro, my guy, appreciate you. Make sure to retweet this, and we'll see you guys on episode 3.